I want to say it. I want to say big back, but I don't think it means what I think it means anymore, you know? Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Tushko with the Kickapoo Tribal Health Center, Health Promotion and Disease Prevention Department. And today we're gonna lift and learn. I know a lot of you guys are going back to class, but we wanna give your back some class, you know what I mean? Well, I'm gonna be joined by some of my friends here and we'll get started. I want to say welcome to my baby back brothers and sisters here. We got Cassandra, she's our very own HPDP nurse. And we got Doc Ma here, who's one of our logisticians over here at the clinic. And we're gonna teach you today by turning them around. And this is gonna be your chalkboard. Let's get started. Our first exercise we're gonna do is on the rhomboids, which starts right here alongside your spinal column. And it extends downward to your shoulder blade or where your scapula is. So this muscle here is where a lot of our posture issues and a lot of our soreness issues come from. And we're gonna hit that with a couple of exercises. One, she's gonna be for isolation. She's a little bit new to the gym, so we're gonna use some exercises that are very easy to translate to. And my man here is gonna go with a holistic, which means that we're gonna use other muscle groups to accomplish what we want to actually target. All right, so Cassandra, our nurse here, all she's gonna do is she's basically gonna flex her entire back, placing her shoulder blades together, and that's gonna bring her chest all the way up. And then if you notice right around here, she's got very rigid but not locked out arms. In a controlled swing, bring this all the way back. Now here's where we hit the rhomboid the most, is right here. We try to get it until it's not gonna move anymore. So imagine you have maybe like a rice cake, you don't want it to fall out. So you're gonna squeeze that together and bring it back in. And now she's gonna go a little bit more fluid, all the way up, and go ahead and rep it out. Here, squeezing as hard as she can and back. We hit our intended area without overtaxing everything else. Again, this is the isolated exercise version of this. Doc's gonna help us out with our holistic. All right, so now if you notice Doc here, he's in a good control posture. His weight is being held by his hips. They're anchored by the hips, and a good rigid arm structure here. He's gonna do a controlled swing all the way up. Boom. So once it hits here, this contraction has to hold that together. So go ahead and rep it out now. And the heavier he gets, the more his hips will hold his body weight, but you don't need a lot of weight in order to hit this muscle group. It's very sensitive, and relax. One of the most major ones is gonna be your traps. Your traps start all the way down here in the middle of your back. They go all the way up here to your neck. I'm not gonna draw on her neck, but they extend over and they overlap those rhomboids there that we just showed you. Same thing here, goes all for him. He's got these big, huge traps. Don't walk back here because you get trapped. All right. One thing to note is that our traps are responsible for this giant lump right here that everybody loves, those Goldberg lumps. And there's a little bit of a more efficient way to get to that other than just doing shrugs. All right, so Cassandra here, she's gonna select a weight that's pretty manageable, but it's challenging. And she's gonna extend her arms out and grab on to preferably the vertical sections here that keeps her wrist a little bit neutral. And again, she's gonna raise her chest all the way up by squeezing her shoulder blades and pushing basically this top portion of her back into the back portion of the back. And she's gonna pull her elbows. So her traps are gonna stretch alongside underneath here. And then when she brings it back, and a good explosion here is gonna push this whole middle area into each other, and we get a little bit more of the thickness that bodybuilders want, but the more efficiency and functionality of the traps. Earlier, Cassandra was doing the whole rack, but she said don't film it. She don't want to emasculate anybody. And relax. Ah! All right, so we got Doc here with all the muscle that any man could possibly need. He's gonna get on all fours. This exercise is called the gorilla row. And all he's gonna do is gonna get in this modified linebacker stance. If you notice, his chest is out, his hips are all the way back, and he's already got all this muscle contour here. So It may not look like it's dipping in, but it's very rigid. You want to exaggerate this posture because when you have a lot more weight, that weight will pull your body down. So if he's got an exaggerated posture, it's going to neutralize during the motion, which is going to mean that our muscles get the most amount of work. And all he's going to do is going to grab onto his weight there. It says 75, but it's graded for 150. We just didn't want people we want being safe. And he's gonna pull his elbow to his back pocket. That's all he's doing. And he's gonna release and go all the way down and repeat. So this way he can brace himself and use other muscle groups to stabilize himself as he's descending and contracting. This is the concentric part. Is where he's actually shortening the muscle, making everything else work alongside that specific task. All right, so our next group that we're gonna target here is actually a contingent group, which means one depends on the other, which is your teres major here. And that extends over here, but the money maker, which extends underneath in the bicipital cavity of that bone here. So underneath here, and it comes all the way down, is the lats. That's what gives you this giant wide back that he's got here. It's just the coveted shape that most bodybuilders want. Is this lat that comes all the way underneath your humerus bone. So that shoulder bone there houses this teres major and this latissimus dorsi. So they start here, they end up all the way underneath here. This is why we do some of the motions where we reach high to hopefully get that to stretch a little bit more and contract all the way down into the lower back or erector spinae area. Cassandra's gonna come back for our latissimus dorsi. Again, it starts in the very middle of your back here and extends underneath where the tickler spot is on your biceps. Well, you can stand up and reach up here. It doesn't necessarily matter how wide you get, but if you go too wide, it's gonna limit your range of motion. If you go too narrow, it's gonna put a little bit more tension on your biceps and your forearms. So we just wanna get something nice and neutral. And again, she's gonna raise her chest all the way up, and it's gonna squeeze her shoulder blades together, pressing the top half of her back into her lower half, almost as if she's looking up. And she's gonna pull this all the way down into her collarbone here by using her elbows. So she's gonna pull her elbows all the way straight down, keeping her chest high. Notice how her body already adjusts. We want to do that. This is an isolation. And go ahead and release, go all the way up. And so right here is where the action is. So if we get a good stretch here, this is where it starts and it goes all the way here. So if we get a good stretch here, that means that we get the max amount of range. And go ahead and repeat, and then max amount of contraction. If we only go halfway, that means we do get some good stimuli here, but we don't get this area, which is our teres major. That area is what helps the lat get stronger and bigger too. Go ahead and relax and let's go and rep it out. Keep her chest really high, and that's all she's doing. A lot of people are like, she's just trying to get her elbows into her side pockets or her back pockets. It's just basically what's ever gonna be the most amount of stimuli for you in the intended area. All right, Mr. Doc here is gonna do our holistic version of the lat engaging exercise, which is one of the most famous exercises of all time, is the pull-up. So the holistic is because it involves a lot of other muscle groups like his biceps, his forearms, his hand grip. So those are mostly tendons in the hands, which is a great exercise for those things. And the abdomen, so your abs get involved with keeping you stable. So go ahead and extend all the way up. And so all he's gonna do is do a violent engagement of the elbows straight to the hips and get the top of his chest up to that bar there, as high as he can get it. Boom, good, and relax, come on down. And that's all it takes. Let's go a couple more. Good, yep, all day. So you don't necessarily have to get your chin over the bar, you just wanna get the intended area to get the most amount of contraction and the most amount of stretch. So if you don't have a lot of time, but you want to get a good upper body pump, boom, this is a great exercise for that. All right, so a huge thank you to our nurse Cassandra and our fleet manager Doc there for helping us out. If you notice, they were in their regular work attire, so you can feel free to have confidence in getting some efficient exercises in whatever attire that you may have. I never know how to close, but you're welcome to give me a call. I'm just gonna post a cat picture up here, and then we'll end it right there. I'll see you guys later.